Hey guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I've learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And I'm going to do kind of like a story time, just give some advice based on my own personal experience from an email that I got. Now, back in the day, I did a series on this channel called Dear Peter, where people would email me and they would ask me questions, and I would just give some life experience, you know, things that I had learned, things like that. I'm currently in my hotel room in Los Angeles. That's why I'm sitting on the floor, and you guys are on a coffee mug right now. Can you taste the coffee? And so anyway, I received this email from Matt, but I also got a message on Instagram. So Matt really wants me to make this video, and it's actually a great topic for a video. So I thought, you know what? I don't want to go into this thinking a lot about it. I'm just going to read the email, and I'm going to give my response to it and let you guys kind of know how I've come up with some things that I know about this in life, and because I think it is such a great topic. So Matt emailed me, and Matt said, about a year ago, in one of your advice videos, you said you would make a video on struggling to find a purpose in life and how everyone around you knows what they want to do with their life. Please make it. And I think it's a really good video, and or good question to make a video about. And the reason why is because this whole idea, I think, of us struggling to find, you know, our purpose in life or what we're supposed to do, I think, you know, is a hard question. And for me, it's interesting because things have kind of been revealed over time for me. It's not like it just happened, you know, and like one day I just woke up and I was like, okay, this is my purpose in life, if that makes sense. Not to mention that I think that my purpose in life has changed over time. And I think the question, you know, has several different points to it. I think that it has, and I don't even know that today, and this is, when I read the email and I was like, God, how I would respond to that, my first initial reaction was, I don't even know if I know what my purpose is. You know what I mean? Like, I do know this, that I think that a big purpose or a big point of my life that for me, that I've assigned meaning to, is to share my story with the world of recovery, because, you know, it's just something that I feel so passionate about, and I believe that even if only one person is affected positively by that, then I have done something right, you know? And I think that that's kind of like how my purpose has changed over time, that it's not so much maybe like with the things I'm supposed to do with my life and trying to figure that out, more in ways of like a theme to live my life. And I think that's one of the things I've learned as I've grown, you know, older, is that when I was younger, I thought like I needed to have a specific purpose. Like I'm supposed to go into this, or I'm supposed to do that, whatever. And you know, I was very lost from a very young age, not just because I was an alcoholic and an addict, but just because I was very lost. I really didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And the reality is, and if you've watched my vlogs, you would know this, that I've talked a lot about it on here, you know, is that my undergraduate degree is in English and creative writing. And, you know, at that time, I wanted to go, like, I had this dream of moving to, like, a big city and working for a publishing house and all this kind of stuff. But I didn't really ever want to move to a big city. And in fact, I live from a point of fear a lot. So me just upping and moving and going to a big city was probably not going to ever happen. I just talked about that in my vlog the other day, you know? So then the reality is, what was I going to do? Like, you know, teach English on a university level, on that kind of stuff. Well, what happened was, around the time, like right before my last year in college was when I got sober. Thank God, because I was not doing well in school at that time. And, you know, I got sober, and after I got sober, I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, I have had so many counselors in my life that I didn't feel like ever really got on my level or helped me or whatever. And that's why, you know, I started working in a treatment facility. I worked in the same treatment facility that I had gone to the last time. I've been to treatment several times, but that was the last time. And I started working there, and I worked as a tech, and I worked my way up, and then I got my master's degree in social work. And that's just kind of how it evolved for me over time, you know? But, you know, I think, like, with anything in my life, no, there's not a ghost in this room. The lights just go off randomly if I'm not, like, standing over there. So, but that would be a good story time, wouldn't it? I said that on my other video. And, you know, like, but I don't know that ever at that time I really felt like that was my purpose, you know? I just knew it felt like something that I was being pulled to do. Like, I felt compelled to do that. And, you know, I think over time, my interest in things that I wanted to do with my life have changed a lot. You know, today, it's very important for me to work within the confines of a 12-step program on myself, and that's how, you know, like, I'm share my story. Like, I don't, you know, that's what's important for me to do today from an addictions point of view. And, you know, today my purpose, I feel like, is to really release myself and tell my story through creative ways. And that's, you know, really, and honestly, in my entire life, when I look back on it, one of the things I've always wanted to do was, you know, do things from a creative point of view and share things from a creative point of view, because I just love anything from writing to, you know, making videos to making up little plays and all those kinds of things. And I've even, you know, written a couple screenplays. Nothing that's being made into a major movie anytime soon, but you know what I mean? Like, I've done a lot of those things. I even tried to be artistic, but I'm not a very good painter, and I don't even like my own stuff, and I didn't even really enjoy the process. And I think that's important, is that in life, one of the things that you should look at with your purpose is, are you enjoying the process? Are you enjoying the journey of what you're doing? Because I think that as I've gotten older, when I look at things like, when people say to me like, well, what's your purpose? You know, I think that if you had asked me that question at, let's say, 22, okay, like, let's say 24, after I'd gotten sober and whatever, I would have said, well, I think my purpose is, you know, to help with this, or to do that, or to do this. Today, I think my purpose is to be a kinder, gentler person on a daily basis. I think my purpose is to, you know, be a better version of myself on a daily basis. I think today my purpose is to learn from my mistakes and my screw-ups from my past, and do inventory of my life and see who I was that I don't want to be anymore, and the things that I did that I, you know, I think that's my purpose in life, is to continue to grow as a human being, and, you know, to grow as a spiritual being as well. And what I mean by that is not like religiosity. I mean like to grow my soul, you know? And that's why I talk on here a lot about that. I believe that, you know, life is like this school, and you continue to learn lessons, and lessons are repeated until they are learned. And then once you learn that lesson, you go up to the next grade, right? But you never graduate from the school. You never completely graduate. We learn until the day we die, you know? I think there are many people, probably, we don't know because we can't ask them, that learn very valuable lessons just minutes before they die. Maybe everything is put into perspective for them, you know? I don't know. Maybe laying there in that last minute, they kind of like get it, you know? Like, you know, well, maybe this is why this happened, or maybe this, or I wish I hadn't done this, or I regret that, you know? My mom said to me at the end of her life, she said, you know, I asked her about regrets, and she said, you know, as you get towards the end of your life, one of the things that you realize is it's not the things you did that you regret, it's the things that you never tried. And while I believe that to be true, I do disagree with my mom a little bit on that, at least from my point of view. I have a lot of things in life that I've done and said to people that I regret, and, you know, I'm trying to grow on that. And today in my life, my purpose is to be the best version of myself that I can be, so that when I look in the mirror at the end of the day, I'm okay with me. And that's really all that matters to me right now, honestly, you know, is to be able to respect myself when I look at myself in the mirror at the end of the day, of who I am and what energy I put out there in the world. Have I been kind today? Have I been nice to people? You know, have I done the best that I can to help others, you know, and to be of service to others? Like, those are the things I ask myself today. So my purpose has changed over time, and I think that if I was, you know, completely honest with myself, my purpose when I was younger would have been more self-centered and more self-gratifying, versus today where it's, who am I in this great universe? Like, who am I within that? And what am I doing to impact that positively? Not negatively, because I have, you know? And like I said, I have fallen down on my face. I have made an ass of myself. I have said and done things that I am not proud of, you know? And I want to learn from those things, and I want to be a better person today. And I want the energy and the things that I put out there to be positive. And, you know, I want to put out energy that's helping other people. And I think that's my purpose today. But, you know, I had to go through a lot of stuff to realize that. Like, that wasn't something that I just got, like, you know, oh, like, just woke up one day and just, I realized that. And, you know, I know that I'm going to have to go through a lot of painful things in my life to continue to learn lessons. And I've said this a lot in videos, you know, that I don't learn a lot from the successes in my life. I mean, I do. I learn, okay, these things work to be successful. But I really learn more from the mistakes in my life, So I don't know. If you ask me what my purpose is overall from birth to death, I would say that my purpose here on earth is to learn as much as I can, to grow into the kindest human being that I possibly can, to continue to learn from my mistakes, and to be of service to others. I believe that that is my purpose here. And that is not something that I learned overnight. It's taken me a long time, and I'm continuing to learn it, you know? But I don't think that's maybe everybody's purpose. I think everybody has to have a different kind of purpose. And, you know, ask me in 5 years, maybe I'll be someplace completely different, because I think our purpose changes over time. You know, I think there's another side of this question, and that question is, what should I be doing with my life? And I think that very much is like from a career point of view, or, you know, whatever. And the reality is we have to pay our bills, okay? So, like, we don't want to just, I would love to tell you, like, you know, if you want to be an artist, just paint on the beach all day long, but that's not going to pay for your rent. And if you're okay just living on the beach, then I think that's great. But the reality is that we have to pay our bills, and we have to do that. But we can, you know, we can go out and try those creative endeavors and put a lot of time and energy into them while doing things to pay our bills. Toni Morrison, the author, you know, when she was writing bestsellers, you know, she would work all day, and then she would come home and she would feed her kids, do their homework, give them baths, get them into bed, and then she would write at night, okay? Toni Morrison, you know? And I think about that, and I think, you know, the people that really want to be that successful are really that driven, and they're that passionate about what they're doing. One of the things for me, I will say this, that I had to learn to figure out the things in my life that I wanted to do, I had to try some things and find out that I didn't want to do them. When I was in high school, I really thought that I wanted to work for a magazine. I really thought I wanted to be like a magazine, you know, writer, or like have my own column. And I really thought that like I wanted to write in a newspaper. And I was very just intrigued by the whole world of, like, I would watch movies about people that worked on, you know, newspapers, and I thought it was a lot of fun, and, or, you know, magazines, and I thought, this is what I want to do. And I was like, in high school, I took like newspaper like one semester, and like I was in it in a month, and I realized this is not for me. Like, this is not what I want to do, you know? And I think that if there are things out there, you know, make a list. For me, I've had to make lists in my life of like, what do I want to do? Like, my top, like, this is something I've done several times in my life. Like, at any given point, make a list of 5 things that are my dream career, my dream job at that moment. I mean, you could put anything on there, like, you know, being the next Jacques Cousteau, and, you know, doing like, you know, undersea, you know, and whatever, like, things, and, or be a, you know, fortune hunter, or, you know, I don't know, like a politician, or, you know, an attorney, or a doctor, or whatever. But what are your top 5 things on there? And just write them down quickly. And what you will find, I think, is that those that are closest to the top are the things that you want to do. Maybe put some energy into that and try that, you know, take a class, you know, find out what that really means to do those things, you know. If it's like you're really thinking, I think I want to go into law, but I might want to go into medicine too, you know, I don't know. Go and meet, call up an attorney and say, can I sit down and talk to you? What's it really like to do your job? You know, like, how much work is it to, you know, do this? And go sit down and talk to a doctor and say, like, what is it you do? Find a doctor that does what you want to do, you know? I've always believed that for what you want to do in life, and I have done this a lot with writers and YouTubers and all kinds of things, you know, that if there's something that I want to do with my life, I reach out to somebody that I believe that does that successfully, and I say, hey, tell me what it is that you do so that I can really get a grasp of what that looks like. And the second thing I say is, tell me what you do, or how you did what you did to get where you are. Like, you don't have to tell me your trade secrets, but tell me what it is that you did to get started, you know? And I remember my brother-in-law back in the day, you know, he wanted to be an architect for skate parks. And I remember we were sitting there talking, and he was in college at the time, and he goes, I just don't know anything about it. And I go, well, who are the people that are like the architects of skate parks? And he goes, I don't even know, because he's a big skater. And he was like, I don't even know who they are. And I go, well, why don't you look them up and reach out to one of them? I mean, anybody that is passionate about what they do will share with you how they got where they are, you know? And unless they're threatened by you, which why would they be? So, you know, reach out to some people that do the things that you want to do with your life, and then kind of like interview them a little bit, you know, ask them, like, is this something that I really want to do with my life? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, you know? And I think the other thing is that I heard this thing years ago, and I can't remember how many times it is, but I think it's something like 8 times or something. But you will change the direction of your life career-wise like 8 or 9 times in your life, you know? And when I was younger, I thought, oh, that's not true. But now I look back on my life and I'm like, that is kind of true. Like, I've changed my career, like, at this point, like 6 times, you know, and I do this and I do that and I do a little bit of this and I do a little bit of that, you know. And that's what I have found has worked for me today, because I need kind of like a hodgepodge of different things. Like, I just can't just do one thing. I get very, very bored with that. So I don't know, you have to find that out, you know? And for me, whatever I am doing career-wise also has to fit within the confines of that, like, you know, purpose of my life, and trying to wedge those together. And I'll tell you, that's really, really tough sometimes, you know? It really, really is. And for me, you know, it's also about which one's more important to you. My suitcase is right here, like, which one's more important to you at the end of the day? But I think it's a great question to ask, you know? Do I think that we know what our purpose is in life? No, I don't know that we ever really will know that. But I think that we do know what our purpose isn't in life. You know, it's like when people say, like, do you know, like if you have a belief in a higher power, it's like, do you know what your higher power wants from you? Sometimes, mostly not, but I know what my higher power doesn't want from me, I think, you know? And I mean, if I believe in a loving, compassionate higher power, then I think that my loving, compassionate higher power doesn't want me to be a nasty, vile person, you know? And if that's the case, then I have to work on those things, and I have to work on being a better person, and I feel better about myself at the end of the day, you know what I mean? So anyway, let me know what you guys think about that, about this video. Let me know what you think about that topic. How did you find out about what your purpose is in life? And you know, just because I believe one thing doesn't mean that you have to. I'd be really interested to hear what other people have to say in the comment section about this. And, you know, what do you believe that we have a purpose in life? Because I think to believe that, you have to believe in some kind of, like, higher level, if that makes sense. Otherwise, then what we're doing is we're just putting some humanistic belief on a purpose for our life. And that is totally fine, too, you know? To just kind of have some kind of, like, this is what I want my purpose for my life to be. And I think that's totally fine, you know? At least then we are applying some meaning to our lives and the things that we're doing. And we're not just floating through life, just haphazardly doing whatever we want, you know? So let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.